Hello, I'm Deb Keyes with Stampin' on the Hill. Thanks for joining me today and welcome. I have news. It is May 7th, 2025, and the new catalog is out and online exclusives. There are more of those as well. So this is a very exciting time for Stampin' Up! And as a demonstrator, I just have this wish list that's huge. Of course, I'm not buying everything all at one time, neither do you have to. But it does mean, though, that as products are retiring and I'm replacing them with newer products, I also have my retired products that are piling up and I offer them at a huge discount. So if you haven't already, please pop over to the album on the Stampin' Up! Or Stampin' on the Hill Facebook page and check out the sale album. If you need more information, let me know, but it's there. I think all the instructions are fairly clear. If not, please again, let me know. But I'm so excited to have new stuff, and I'm so excited to let you have my pre-owned stuff at a fabulous discount. So, alrighty, today we're gonna do, it's a Stamping 301, and I'm trying to think of easy things to do. So we're going to use our trimmer to create some interest on a card. Let me show you what I mean. Let's jump down and we'll just get started. So we're going to use a piece of 3x6 designer series paper, and I just have a little piece of, I don't even know how big this is, about a 1/2 inch of balmy blue. That's going to be our greeting. And then our card base is going to be 5.5 by 8.5, and we're going to score it at 4.25. I usually use my trimmer to do my scoring like this, but today I think what we're going to do is bring in, it'll be easier for you to see, I think. So I'm going to bring in the score board. I think it's simply scored. And we're going to make our 4.25, which is our half point right here. Okay. And then we're going to fold it like we would normally. And it's easier if said than done, apparently. Okay. Let's bring in a bone folder, line up my edges better. Here we go. That's better. Okay. Bring this back in. All right. So I want to add some lines on here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, and I want them raised. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, and I want them to be here and here. So I'm going to open this up and line it up in the corner. And then from my mark here, I'm going to go over like a 1/2 inch, or I'm sorry, 1/4 inch, and make another one. And then I'm going to go every line after this. And I'm just going to make 3 lines. 2, 3. Okay. I think you can see what I'm getting at here. And then I'm going to go, I have to do it this way, I think, because I want it on the bottom. So my card goes like this, and I want it on the bottom. I have to do it this way. Okay. So then I'm going to go 1/4 inch. Oops. 1/4 inch down from here. And I'm going to go all the way to my actual card fold. And again, I'm going to do all 3 lines that are, and I'm having a hard time seeing here. 1, 2, 3. Right? Yes, got it. All right. So now I've actually got some interest on the front of my card, if you can see the lines here and here. Okay. So let's get rid of this. And now what we're going to do is cut, oops, wrong piece. That's the other half. I wanted to use the piece with the sky in it. We're going to cut this at 3 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut off, I can cut off some of the top. How about, what does an inch look like? An inch. Yeah. Let's cut an inch off the top. And then we want it to be 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut the rest of it off the bottom. You can do this however you like. And then I'm just going to cut this into 3 pieces, and they don't necessarily have to be equal pieces. I'm going to just kind of eye it. I'm going to go with maybe 1 1/8 for the bottom, and then, and I'm keeping them in order, and then this is going to be in half. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just supposed to be easy. So there's my pieces. There are my pieces. And then we're going to adhere them back onto here in the same order that we cut them. So I'm going to just go like this. Maybe, apparently my glue hasn't been used today. This is a thing with me, isn't it? Every time I try to use the glue, it says, no, thank you. I'm not ready. All right. This is fun. So apparently I left it open too long at one point. I've been in and out doing lots of things. So anyway, I have a big glob now, and I'm just going to spread this around. I figured this would be a good teaching moment to spread it around, and you can see what I'm doing. All right, which way do these go now? This way. Oi, oi, oi. Man, oh man. Okay, so here's where I have another tip for you. I will show you this is not even straight even, but I can move it. I made myself some templates, and I was going to show them to you because I thought, well, this is a great idea. So I have these templates, and these are just different increments. And what I did was I took a piece of the backer that comes in the DSP, and I just, so it's big. Well, apparently mine was smaller than this, but I just took and made different increments, and I wrote on there. So I want to use 1/8 of an inch in between each of my pieces. And so I'm going to set that there and get the rest of my glue kind of spread around on here. Like that. This all ought to work now. Okay. Make sure it's the right way up. Yeah. So I'm setting this here. I'm going to line this up here. And I'm also watching my edge here to see. Okay. And then I have the opportunity to bring it back up and do it again. Put some more glue on here. Just down like this. This is if you're a perfectionist. And I have been known to be a perfectionist, but you don't have to do it this way. You could totally eyeball it and it would be fine. So this is my template is just these different thicknesses. And I just grabbed an old piece of retired cardstock, and I used some removable Tombow adhesive. And now they're all coming off. And I was hoping that those would stick down there, but I've got glue on my fingers, so everything's coming off. Anyway, so that's one of my templates. I thought I would share that idea with you. And I'll show you some more templates here in a sec. Then we're going to stamp. This one shifted. A lot of good that template did, huh? It's all right. It's going to get covered up anyway. The things you learn when you make mistakes. So happy you're here to see how to fix them. All right, I'm going to I'm going to go this way, I think. And this just says you're in my thoughts. Can you even see what I'm doing? No. And then I'm going to look for a pair of scissors. I'm just going to trim this up. I'm kind of eyeballing the width from here to here, and I'm going to do about the same there. And then I'm just going to give this a little banner end. You've seen me do this before. Slice up the middle and then from each corner to the top. And then we're going to put some dimensionals on this. And like I said, this part's going to be covered up because we're going to put this right in between anyway. So there's that. And then I have some gems I thought I would use. These are Neutrals adhesive backed sequins. And, I slice them down the side so they're easier to get out. And let's see what colors we can use in here. Probably clear. I could use gold. Let's use gold. And these are easy because they're sequins and you can just pick them up. Let's see. Where do we want to put them? I want to put one down here. And then I think I want to put a couple up on the top. We'll use a big one up there and a little one up there. There. So that's a quick and simple way to add a little bit of extra something to your card by using the scorer on your trimmer, or if you have the scoreboard, that's great too. Let me show you a couple different examples of using the scoring method. So you'll notice these I have raised up. So I opened it up and I scored downward for them to be raised. In a couple of these cases, the scores are actually indented. So those are valleys. And there's a couple different, can you see them all? Trying to see if, there you go. Now I can see a little bit. There's some on the top and the bottom. This one's in just the middle. This one is just across the bottom several times. And then I have one other one. This one is raised, and these go from corner to corner this way. Can you see that? Yep, there it goes. Okay. These are actually note cards and envelopes. They come in a 10-pack, which is a great thing. And then I also used the ephemera pack. So I used Saying Something ephemera pack and the Something for Everything ephemera pack. And the ephemera packs are just, I have these just in a clear case, but it's just, everything is all colored and popped out for you. Easy, so easy to make cards. So one of them has like the decorations, the fish and stuff like that, and the other one has words. Of the two that I just mentioned. So anyway, the Saying Something has all the words. So anyway, these are kind of fun, but this was just another idea, and I wanted to show you how to actually make those lines on there, because it just gives it a little bit of something extra in what would otherwise be just a plain card. So, well, this was a challenging day, wasn't it? Between the glue not working and, anyway, let's see. What else did I want to tell you? Be sure, if you haven't already, go check that the album on Facebook in the photos section. And I think that's it. Be sure to subscribe to my newsletter too, if you don't already. I do give out free tutorials with the newsletter, and it's only once a month currently. That might change, we'll see. I think that's all I have to say today. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's jump back down. I forgot to show you the rest of the templates. Hang on. Okay, so templates. And again, I used some old retired cardstock, but these are all in 1/8 inch increments, and I just put labels on them. So I've got the 4 3/4 by 3, and then the next one is 1/8 of an inch, both directions bigger, and so on and so forth until I get to 5 1/4 by 4. So this is typically your, let me bring in this one. This is typically your regular layer of a card base. But if you didn't want your card layer to be that big, you could use these templates then to figure out what size you really want it to be. So if you wanted it to be this size, then you could do that. And then you would know that this size would be 1/8 inch, or maybe you wanted it to be a 1/2 inch border around it. You could do that. Mine are different colors just so that I could keep them segregated better, but you can make them whatever you like. But I just thought this was such a great idea. And then when they're all together, you can see all the different layers and kind of get an idea of like which layers work on which sizes. So like this one on this is 1/4 of an inch different, right? So then you have the whole 1/4 inch border on there. Whereas if you have this piece on here, you only have an 1/8 inch border all the way around. Okay, so you get the idea. Anyway, that's the other template idea that I was going to share along with my guides here to keep things straight. You could definitely, those of you who scrapbook could definitely use these strips like this if you don't already, just to keep your pictures or your focal points of your scrapbooks, scrapbook whatever's focal points in your scrapbook. Keep them segregated, and maybe you want them to be everything a 1/2 inch apart, and you want it to be all evened up. Again, there's my perfectionist self coming back again. I hope you have a good rest of your month. Thanks for watching.